Mike Bohn here in Sydney with Eric Nicksick, Xtreme Couture head coach, and going to be in Sean Strickland's corner on Sunday morning here when he fights Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. How does it feel to be here, man?
Do I need to apologize for his last interview, or are we good?
No, we're good. You can't apologize for Sean. It's too late now.
Yeah, it's way too late, bro. No, man, we're out here, been out here since Saturday, so it's nice to actually feel like fight week's kind of hit now because we got Manel here and then Sean, and all the workouts are starting to pick up a little bit, so it's nice.
How have you kept his head on straight in the lead up to getting here? Because we didn't know if this fight was going to happen for a while. It seemed like it, but it was not that long ago when it was fully locked in. So how did you keep him focused? We are fighting, but without knowing if it was for sure.
Oh, it's easy because, I mean, he lives in the gym no matter what. So even if he had a fight on the books or not, he was going to be in the gym no matter what. So, and that's kind of what I alluded to him after. It was after Dricus beat Whitaker. Right then he's like, oh, well, now I don't know what now. And I was like, hey, listen, man, there's a good chance you might even be the backup if Dricus fights Izzy, So it wasn't long thereafter when Izzy called his name. And fortunately, he's been in the gym training, and it allowed us to keep a leg up on the situation.
You've done a number of championship training camps at this point. This one maybe isn't as ideal for the reasons we just said, but what have you been able to take from past ones and apply it into each next championship fight?
This one I feel a lot more calm in the regards of obviously with Francis and Aljo, there's a lot of just, I think, added pressure that I put on myself, look, Izzy, in my opinion, is the best middleweight to ever do it, and this is a tall task, but I think adding more pressure and putting more onto yourself as a coach, and I think that also will be added onto your fighter as well, and making it, even a heavier situation. So we're all pretty loose and carefree, and we understand we have a very tough fight ahead of us, but putting more pressure on ourselves doesn't really make any sense either.
It must be exciting for you too, though, right? You like to solve these puzzles, you like to put game plans together and do all this stuff, and like you said, Izzy is a tricky challenge. So to go through this process, I mean, is that something you really embrace and enjoy too?
Oh, very much so. I'm a competitor, and man, I just think the world of Izzy. I think the world of his camp, what these guys have been able to do, and in a relatively short period of time, they've really taken over. Brad had fought Izzy once before, and it was a tough puzzle to solve then. And I think even with that being said, when Izzy fought Brad years and years ago, Izzy's been doing a lot of things behind the scenes to evolve his game out as well. So he's going to be a very tough fight, and I'm looking forward to it. I wouldn't say I have the best guy that listens all the time, but at the end of the day, man, it's going to be a challenge no matter what, whether he's listening or not.
Yeah, so what do you do on fight night or fight day here, right? When he wants to go in there and you want him to do something, but how early on do you know if he's listening to you, or if it's going to be one of those nights where Sean's just on his own, right?
Yeah, no, flip a coin, right? No, he's been doing a lot better at that, and I think honestly, Mike, over the last 3 or 4 fights, he trusts in us, in myself and Danny and Alex and Chris Curtis, and the guys are always in the corner. I think he trusts in what we're seeing from the outsider's perspective, and that's what you hire us for, and that's what you put us in there for, we're not trying to change his game completely. We're just trying to add little things and nuances to his game that we might have a better path to victory for. So it's hard for you to go in there and just hey, you're going to do it my way, because guys, you'll see resistance that way. But if you can introduce small little things and help him, and then when he sees it and he goes, oh yeah, you're right, I could have done that better, yes, you're right when he said that, it's hey, that's what he hires for.
How cognizant do you think he is of the fact that this is an extremely rare opportunity, right? Not many fighters get a championship fight. He wasn't supposed to be the #1 guy, and who knows if this will come around again, so you have to make the most of this moment.
He's very cognizant of it. Now is probably the most real, but Sean's always real, but I would say the most almost kind of vulnerable in a sense, where he said that to me one day, and he's like, hey man, I don't know when I'll ever have this opportunity again, so he understands the gravity of what's in front of him, and he's taking it very serious, and he understands the matchup that he has in front of us. So I think everything that up to our preparation, he's really taken seriously.
And I know every situation is different, and you have your own relationship with each fighter, but how gratifying would this one be if he's able to get this done compared to some of the other championship wins?
It'd be very gratifying. I've seen the odds, and I understand that no one's really given us a shot, and look, I understand. As an analyst, if I'm breaking this fight down, I think the one thing that you can't gauge is Sean's heart. and he's willing to go out there and put it all on the line. That's just always been his mentality. So you can't ever count out a guy that's willing to fight the way that he's willing to fight. So it'd rank up there very high, especially just the utmost respect that I have for Izzy and how good I think he is. So being able to go out and get a victory would be mean the world.
You kind of saw Sean through those sparring rounds. He was saying, you can't control being knocked out, but you can control not getting tired and these other things. Is that like a kind of deep insight into his mindset and philosophy?
I think that's our philosophy at Xtreme Couture. We make practices, super hard. Some people don't like to come to those practices, but we do it for a reason. And you look at the Dan Iges, you look at the Kai Kamakas, the Jeremy Kennedys, the Sean Stricklands, Puna Haley Sorten. I mean, guys that just get in there and they love that mentality. And I think that's what the room really breeds. And we always say, like, we have to be the hardest on each other. Like, we're like siblings, right? We need to be the toughest on one another so that it's easier when you get into the fights, right? So, I think just that mentality alone, that Sean kind of carries that flag, carries that anchor, and hopefully it'll work out for us.
Awesome. And last thing, are you willing to go out on a limb and make an official prediction?
No, I'm not a prediction guy. I don't do that. I didn't even do it with Francis or anybody else. Look, here's my thing about the prediction things is, like, of course I think my guy's going to win. Of course you think that, but at the end of the day, this is fighting, and we have a game plan that we have to go out and execute. We need everything to go right, and we need some things to go wrong on his end. Let's be clear. We have to understand that, in my opinion, this is the best middleweights ever do it, and we have to go out there and execute this thing correctly. And if we can do that, I think we go home with the W.
Thank you very much for the time, Coach, and looking forward to it.
Sure.